So let's talk about discipline. And I mean, let's really talk about it, not the usual motivational hype. Let's be brutally honest about why you keep trying to get disciplined and why you keep failing. Because here's the thing. The way you fail isn't random. It's not bad luck. It's a predictable pattern, a loop that you are completely stuck in. And in this explainer, we're going to pull it apart piece by piece.
Okay, so let's get right into it. You know the drill. You decide this is it. This is the week. This is the time I finally get my act together. You map out a plan, you feel that incredible surge of inspiration, and for a few days, maybe even a full week, you are on fire. And then, poof, it just fades, and you're right back where you started, feeling frustrated, confused, and probably a little bit ashamed. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so.
And this is the voice in your head, isn't it? It's that constant nagging feeling that you should be doing more, that you know you need to change. But that powerful gravitational pull to just stay comfortable, to keep things easy, it almost always wins. You keep waiting for that magical moment when you finally feel ready to change. But here's the secret. That feeling, it never shows up when you need it to.
And this is where the pattern just becomes painfully obvious. I mean, look at these steps. It always starts with a spark of inspiration. That's step one. Maybe you watch a video or you just get fed up with yourself. Then, step two, you start strong. You're hitting the gym, waking up early, you're a machine. But that initial feeling, it's like a drug. It's temporary. So inevitably, step three happens, the feeling fades. And the second it's gone, step four kicks in. You fall off. You miss one day, then it's two. But instead of just picking it back up, you make that classic fatal promise to yourself. A big, grand restart on Monday. And just like that, you're back at the beginning of the loop.
So let this sink in, because it's the most important part. Your failure is not an accident. It's a system. You are following a very specific script for failure, probably without even realizing it. And understanding that script, well, that's the only way you're ever going to break it.
So why does this keep happening? Why are you stuck? I'll tell you right now. It's not because you're lazy, and it's not because you lack willpower. It's because you have fundamentally misunderstood what discipline even is. You're trying to fight your own brain's wiring, and that is a fight you are destined to lose unless you completely change your strategy. These 5 traps you see here, these are the real culprits. First, you rely on motivation, which is just an emotion. It's a battery that always runs out. Second, you expect this whole process to feel good and inspiring, but the reality of discipline is that it's often boring and uncomfortable. Third, you're chasing perfection. You set this impossible standard that basically guarantees you're going to fail. Fourth, you can't tolerate discomfort. You run from the very feeling that progress is actually built on. And finally, the big one. You see one tiny failure, one slip up, not as a little stumble, but as a valid reason to burn the whole thing down and quit.
You know, the science on this is actually pretty wild. Your brain is basically an efficiency machine. Its number one job is to conserve energy. So when you try to do something hard that doesn't give you an immediate shot of dopamine, your brain activates a defense mechanism. It's called perceived effort. It literally makes the task feel more difficult than it actually is, just to try and talk you out of doing it. So you're not just fighting the task itself, you're literally fighting your own neurology.
This quote absolutely nails it. The real enemy here isn't laziness. It's your addiction to comfort. You've spent years training your brain to seek out what is easy and immediately gratifying. And discipline, by its very definition, is the deliberate choice to walk toward discomfort now for a reward that's way off in the future. And that is a choice your brain is hardwired to fight you on every single step of the way.
I mean, let's be real. The raw truth is that discipline is not glamorous. It's boring. It's doing the same mundane, repetitive tasks over and over again, especially on the days when you would rather do literally anything else. You don't stop going to the gym because lifting the weight is physically impossible. You stop because it's Tuesday, you're a little bit sore, and staying home to watch Netflix just sounds a hell of a lot better.
Okay, to really make this crystal clear, I want to tell you a story. It's a simple comparison, but it perfectly explains the huge difference between the mindset that is guaranteed to fail and the one that eventually always succeeds.
So, on one side, we have the restarter. This is the person living inside that failure loop we just talked about. And on the other side, we have the continuer. This person gets what discipline is really all about. Let's just watch how their two journeys play out.
This table just lays it all out perfectly. Let's walk through it. Week 1. The restarter goes all in, hitting the gym 5 times, totally high on motivation, thinking I'm fixing my entire life. Meanwhile, the continuer sets us a standable, realistic pace, 3 times a week. Now fast forward to week 3. The restarter misses 2 days and immediately declares the whole thing ruined. The verdict? all restart fresh on Monday. But the continuer, they also miss a day because, life happens. But what do? They just go the next day. No drama, no grand restart, they just continue. And a year later, the restarter is still stuck in that same exact cycle, making zero real progress. The continuer, on the other hand, has completely transformed. Going to the gym is no longer a choice they have to make. It has become a part of their identity.
This, right here, is the entire secret. The continuer didn't win because they had some superhuman willpower or because they were perfect. No, they won because they had one simple, unbreakable rule: just don't stop. They understood that imperfection was a non-negotiable part of the process, and they prioritized consistency over intensity.
All right, we've gone over the patterns, we've looked at the psychology. Now, let's make this personal. It's time for some radical honesty about what you're actually doing.
So I want you to really ask yourself this right now. After everything we've just covered, do you really think your issue is a lack of discipline?
Because here's the truth. You don't have a problem starting. You're great at starting. In fact, you start things all the time. Your problem is that you stop. You quit. You quit the second it gets boring, the second it gets uncomfortable, the second it stops feeling new and exciting and hopeful. Now, this might be a tough pill to swallow, but it's the truth. You're addicted to the feeling of a fresh start. You love the idea of a clean slate, that rush of motivation, the fantasy of becoming a new you. But that feeling is a trap. It's what keeps you from ever pushing through the messy, boring, difficult middle part, which is where all the real progress actually happens.
So, if quitting is the real disease, what's the antidote? It's not another productivity hack. It's not a new planner or some fancy app. It's a fundamental shift in your entire mindset. It's a simple, no-nonsense system for not quitting.
And here it is. Number 1, expect discomfort. Go into it knowing that your brain is going to put up a fight. Number 2, ban the word restart from your vocabulary. If you miss a day, you just continue the next, period. Number 3, accept imperfection. You're not aiming for 100% perfection. You're aiming for 80% consistency. That's how you win. Number 4, focus only on showing up. Consistency is the only metric that truly matters. And finally, number 5, the most important one, build the identity. Your goal is to become the type of person who simply doesn't quit.
And this right here is the end game. What you're really trying to do is close the identity lack. That's the gap between the new actions you're taking and your old image of yourself. By just repeating the behavior day in and day out, you're building a mountain of undeniable proof for your brain that this new identity is who you really are. And eventually, the action isn't forced anymore. It's not discipline. It's just an expression of who you've become.
So let's wrap this all up with one final metaphor, one idea that will make this impossible for you to forget. Just think about the way you've been approaching your goals up until this very moment.
Every single time you restart, what you are actually doing is willingly deleting your save file and starting the entire video game over from level 1. You fight the same easy, beginner-level monsters, you gain a few experience points, and then just as you're about to finally reach level 2, you quit and restart the whole game again. You can't win a game if you never get past the tutorial level.
So I'll leave you with this one question. Be honest with yourself. How many weeks, months, or even years of your life have you lost by choosing to start over again and again instead of just continuing? The next time you feel that urge to quit and restart fresh on Monday, I want you to remember that the only way to level up is to keep playing the game you're already in, right now, today.